Today it's time for a professional match of StarCraft 2, and what I've got for you is a Zerg versus Terran on the map Zen. Spawning in the top right hand corner, playing with the red Zerg drones. From Ukraine, we're looking inside of the main base of Bly. Now, I've casted many of Bly's games over the last couple of years, although I have to say, I don't actually know if I've ever casted a game of his opponent. This man was absolutely huge, especially in like the Wings of Liberty and Heart of the Swarm days of StarCraft. One of the most popular players of all time, yet I don't even know if I've ever casted a game of his before. We have, of course, none other than Polt. Now, in case you're unfamiliar, Polt is an old school pro gamer. He's from South Korea, one of the very best players that we've ever had in StarCraft 2, especially back in the day. However, he had to retire in late 2016, I believe because of his mandatory military service that all of the South Korean guys have to do. Now, the cool thing about Polt is that not only is he a very, very strong player, or at the very least he used to win many, many tournaments, he lived over in the United States of America, and thus by Americans, he was very quickly dubbed Captain America, as I believe he studied at the University of Texas. Now, when it comes to tournament winnings alone, he has earned roughly $450,000 by winning the GSL Super Tournament 2011, Aces ROG Winter 2012, MLG Spring Championships 2013, WCS America Season 2 2013, WCS America Season 3 2013, Red Bull Battlegrounds Detroit, WCS Season 1 2015, and WCS Winter 2016. Now, those are only Premier Tournaments and only Premier Tournaments that he won. StarCraft tournaments are categorized with minor, major, and premier. He's participated in many major and minor events as well. He won a lot of those too. He's also obviously gotten a lot of second places and third places and fourth places. So basically what I'm trying to say is that Polt used to be one of the very strongest players in the world, and a very popular one as well because, well, he was one of the few South Koreans that would actually be living over in the United States, and, well, obviously he would speak fluent English, which is a big, big thing. I think that's one of the reasons why, for example, Solar is really popular as well. Solar doesn't live in the US, but he does speak fluent English, and I do think it's a bit of a game changer. Now, there's actually a pretty interesting debate going on right now, or at the very least I think there is. It's an interesting discussion to have. Polt is currently 31 years old. Now, at least in like pro gaming terms, that is considered quite old, especially back in like StarCraft Brood War and StarCraft 1. Players would retire at like age 25, 26 or so. Those guys are actually getting a little bit older these days as well. But there's no denying that Polt is once again on the rise up. Like, he's getting better and better. And I'm excited to see what he's gonna look like a little while from now. Now, I know he's already been back to StarCraft 2 for quite a bit. He is improving very quickly. And, well, I'm curious to see how he's gonna go up against someone of the caliber of Bly. Guess we'll find out together. Bly. He used to be very well known for his very cheesy strategies. He was the guy who really popularized going for proxy hatcheries and roach ravager rushes and a lot of very aggressive pushes and everything along those lines. However, especially in the previous balance patch, he was one of the guys who was really using, and I guess I can say abusing. Oh, that was nice, getting a drone kill. Really abusing that Brute Lord Infestor style. Generally speaking, right? If you managed to go up towards a maxed out Brute Lord Infestor army, it was pretty difficult for Zerg to lose unless they made a major slip up. And at the pro level, once they got to like, oh, is he sacrificing it? Oh, he gets another run. Yeah, there you go. I mean, 2 drones right there at the cost of just a single Reaper. Very much so worth it. Bly is going to be able to figure out what's going on, by the way. Scouting exactly for that 1-1-1. We'll see that the starport has a tech lep on it. So he's going to have to start preparing here for the potential of a Banshee. And actually, it is going to be a Fusion Core follow-up. So I don't actually know exactly what kind of style Bly likes to play at this point. So Bly, he always was playing that cheeky style. The one that I mentioned earlier with like the proxy hatcheries and all that. And then he transitioned towards like a full-on passive macro kind of style. And then with the new multiplayer balance patch, since Brute Lord Infestor is not as strong anymore, I haven't actually seen him play yet. So we'll see what kind of play style he really favors at this point. He's always been really good now, so we'll see. We'll see. Third command center going up. 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Very, very standard scout timing there as well by Bly. Figures it out immediately with that Overlord. It's pretty much always being used these days to like finish off the wall right here at the front. So I'm not surprised right here to see Polt also bringing the command center at that moment. So seeing the third command center at 4:30 means that everything is A-okay. Now, this is kind of cool. So I like the blind Banshee opener. because it shuts down a lot of the early game aggression that Zerg can go for. The thing is, there's a lot of like Roach Ravager pushes that can end the game straight up if you go for like say like a Viking into a Banshee. The game's pretty much over at that point. Since I can imagine Bly is still well known for going for a lot of those aggressive pushes, he does them even, or he did them even like in the previous patch too. I wouldn't be surprised if this is specifically Polt opening up with a Banshee just in case that kind of aggressive push is happening, because he is following it up with a Battlecruiser. I don't know if I've seen a lot of people go like Banshee into Battlecruiser. Technically speaking, not the most optimal way of going into the BC. And he's now actually also making the transition towards Bio. Okay, so this is pretty cool, because most of the time whenever we see a BC opener, it means that the players will transition towards mech. I think this is just to put on like a little bit of sustained pressure. BC is out. Is he going to go for a second one as well? Doesn't look like that is the case. Well, the Battlecruiser will show itself here, as indeed the Roaches have decided to make their way across the map. Banshee's now also, or the one Banshee rather, made its way all the way back home, and I don't think that these Roaches are going to be able to achieve all too much. I mean, the Roaches are going to be able to kill a couple of Hellions, and that's fine and all. Polt doesn't really care about these for all too long. Alrighty. So what's going to be the follow-up? We will see 1-1 coming up here as well for Bly. Going up to 12 additional workers, building up the Baling Nest. Baling Nest is actually a bit late. Would have loved to see the Baling Nest line up with the lair right there, because most of the aggressive timing attacks that Polt will be able to go off of here will end right when Stimpback comes up. So having Stimpback here done is going to be huge for Polt, and well, if you get Baneling speed at that point, it's much easier to defend against those kind of timing pushes. I like this quite a bit though. Yeah, you can see right here, not something that Bly was really expecting either, right? The Battlecruiser follow-up. I mean, he knew that there was a Banshee out, and knew that there wouldn't be a Viking at that point, so he decided to send the Overlords pretty far forward. This Battlecruiser already raking in 9 kills. I wonder if this will also force out, like, Spire play. Spire is usually the common... Yeah, there it is. Okay, so usually we do see the Spire as a follow-up to seeing the Battlecruiser. It's actually pretty cool, because Spire play, I don't think it's the most optimal way of playing Zerg. I mean, maybe on paper, if you play like Mutaling Bane or something, you can get a lot of value. But most of the time, especially against Battlecruisers, you want to get a couple of Corruptors out, and they are pretty much pointless, you know, after that state in the game, until much later, when you want to like warp in, or morph in, rather, a couple of Battlecruisers. So you create a bit of an awkward game right here for Zerg, and I kind of like it here for Polt. Really good scenario for him to be in. Okay, by the way, we can play some StarCraft trivia again. If you need to, pause the video. What is this upgrade called? Well, I mean, you can see it right now on the right-hand side. It's the Rapid Reignition System. I was gonna say, tell me with a comment down below, but I guess it's already spoiled itself. It's the Medevac base speed improvement. So Medevacs are gonna be able to be a little bit quicker. And they also actually have a reduced cooldown on their Ignite Afterburners. Now, I've got a feeling that this base is pretty much as good as dead, as Bly was sleeping on the job for just a little bit. He was busy dealing with that Battlecruiser, also trying to do a Zergling run by at the same time. Both players, though, mostly just transitioning here towards that macro game. So it will actually be Mutas. Okay, very cool. So Mutaling Bane was the standard for a very long time, especially when Polt was actually active in the pro gaming scene in like you know, the early years of the game. He always played against that Mutaling Bane style, as it was the standard for a very long time. These days, though, Mutaling Bane, I mean, it's not as common anymore. Primarily because Mutas are very easy to counter. Now that the Thor has been buffed up quite a bit, so the Thor right now is probably the scariest Terran unit out there, other than maybe like the Marine or something. But the Thor is very scary. Terrans love transitioning towards them, and well, as soon as you see that your opponent is going Mutas, just make a couple of them, and it's pretty straightforward to counter those flying units. Sometimes, though, I guess they can catch your opponent off guard, right? I mean, they're still going to be great at picking off Medivacs. If there's no static defense, you can see there's no missile turrets, other than the one over here in the main, but there's none in the natural. You can get quite a bit of damage done as well. Bly actually ready to do some counter-attack aggression once again on that supply depot. Battlecruiser, though, happens to just be in close proximity. Yeah, I mean, I mean, this is likely not going to deal too much damage, right? It shouldn't. This is not with +2 just yet, but still going to be able to get quite a lot of Zergling kills at the same, or quite a lot of SCV kills. At the same time, we do have the Bio army pushing forward towards that newly acquired hatchery here of Bly, who's actually only sitting on 72 workers. I've been quite critical so far, it feels like, this game, actually, from both players, but I feel like 72 workers is not enough. He really should be looking for like 80 at this point, maybe 85, even 90. Like, this is the kind of style that, for example, Raynor plays every once in a while. But Raynor plays this kind of strategy off of like, well, a lot more workers, like I just said, right? He makes quite a few more. Tactical jump is off cooldown. There you go. Get him out of there. A couple of the transfuses do go down on the mutas, so Bly is going to be able to keep those alive. Okay, there we go. He does add on the additional workers right now. Gonna say, if you're gonna sit around on like 75 and you play Mutiling Bane, an army composition that never really trades very well, like you're pretty much always gonna be in a rough spot with trading. It's never gonna be too efficient. You really rely on the reinforcements that come after that, and you really rely on that economical advantage so you can eventually win. Now he's really making a lot of them, by the way, so more and more mutas are going down. Very cool. Planetary Fortress though has been taken over here. At this point there's enough mutas to start working on these missile turrets quite smoothly as well. Nice bit of micro there by Bly. Zergling's actually trying to get into a pretty good position as well. This is a very strong planetary fortress though, because it's one of those locations that you can't really push into. I mean, you can make a lot of Lings and Banes maybe and try and blow it up, but that's gonna be expensive, and once again, not a very cost-efficient move. Polt, in the meantime, cycling his army all the way through like the northern path of this map, and he's trying to go after this base again. Now, these siege tanks are in a very powerful spot. This is also an area of the map that's difficult to get into, right? Like, Zerg can't really easily set up a surround without going towards the left and moving all the way off creep. Instead, Bly is just abandoning the base entirely, and I think that might be the correct choice. At the same time, we did have a bit of a bailing detonation over at that base that I mentioned earlier. Very expensive move. I think the planetary fortress will probably stay alive. Most of the Terran army still over here, and this is also going to be the moment where Bly decides to engage. Ooh, this is on the edge of creep though. Really nice control there by Polt. Decides to move pretty much all of those Terran units once again off creep, trying to bait those banelings into the siege tank line of fire and trying to bait them into rolling into the tanks as well. Looks like he will be able to retreat here eventually. Quite a lot of workers did go down over here, but the planetary still holds. And obviously at this point in the game, I mean, losing a bunch of workers for Terran, it sucks, you never really want to. But it's also the point in the game where he has a lot of orbital commands and stuff, and he can really quite easily replace those workers with just a bunch of mules, right? Every mule mines for about 5 or so SCVs. All he needs to do right now is replenish some of that lost mining with some mules instead. Maybe another command center or two. Now, I like this here for Polt. So he's decided to add on those Thors. Thors, like I mentioned, they are the new go-to in the late game. They're very, very strong. There's actually a couple of drones in his unit composition here, oddly. You see that? He's actually selecting them right now as well. And once again, Polt, I mean, he is slow pushing. He is sitting out on the perimeter of creep, killing a couple of tumors, waiting for the creep to disappear before he moves onwards, which takes like, that takes like a minute or so before that creep is gone. Right now, though, with the bio army all the way to the front, I mean, there's a couple of Marines over here. The siege tanks will be picked off by a few of those Mutalisks. Still, though, those few medevacs, very, very helpful. Another tank does get picked off, but his position is so awkward here for the Zerg. How are you going to engage into this? He does have +3/+3 coming up. He does have Adrenal Gland, so if he can hold on here, he's going to be in a pretty good spot. And I think, you know what? Yeah, that might just be a little bit too much of a Mutalisk clump over here. Bly will be able to stabilize, but once again, Polt is on the perimeter of the creep, cleaning as much of it up as possible. I'm liking this. This really does remind me of like a Wings of Liberty or like a Heart of the Swarm-esque kind of game. Right? It really does feel like that. I don't know how many of you watched StarCraft 2 back then. Actually, let me know down below in the comment section. Since we can't do a little bit of trivia about the reignition system, right? When did you start watching StarCraft 2? Or when did you start playing StarCraft 2? Let me know down below. I'm actually very curious. Just give me the year. Or like a guesstimate of the year. For me, I started watching StarCraft 2, well, in 2010. I'm a bit of a nerd, guys. It's been like 10 years. Isn't that crazy? It's been 10 years. Kind of feels like a chapter of my life. I mean, I guess it is because it's also turned out to be, you know, what I do for a living these days. Hey, so thanks for watching, by the way. I appreciate it. I've got the sickest job just because of you guys. All right, Ultralis Cavern is coming up. Ooh, the depot's down. The depot's down. Ooh, this is big. This is really big. Bly just all of a sudden managed to get most of those units inside of the base of the Terran player. Reinforcements, though, are here. but most of the army of Polt is out on the map, and when the Zerglings can get the perfect wraparound, they can get so much damage done, especially when the tanks aren't sieged. Mutas, though, were mostly cleaned up. It is going to be a transition right now for the Zerg player towards Infestors, but this is also the moment where a bunch of SCVs will fall, and this really does start to hurt quite a bit. That's a lot of workers in total, 36 going down so far in this game. Still though, Polt in the bottom right-hand corner with a massive supply lead. Zerg is once again sitting only on 69 workers. Nice. But he doesn't really have a lot of mining bases, right? So he's got a bunch of expansions and stuff, and he's only just now transferring. It feels like he hasn't really been able to get the favorable trades, and that's primarily because of the worker count. So you can play the style that Bly is doing here, but you need a lot more eco. Once again, the Zerglings go in. This would be great if he had 90 workers, but he doesn't. He's only got 69. Nice. Base in the top left, though, will be harassed as well. Hatchery in the bottom right will be cleaned up, too. I'm liking this position for Polt quite a bit, primarily because he's not really losing anything too critical. Yeah, he's lost some army, but he's got pretty much all of his command centers still intact. Hopefully, for him, he can get this base up and running here as well. Plus, he's still pushing. He's putting on a lot of pressure. Whenever Bly commits a lot of resources, you know... Ooh, well, that Ultra is not going to do very much. Not very Ultralisk. That's a better name for them, actually. The not so very Ultralisk. Actually, hold that thought, because we do have the, we do have the Infestors moving forward as well. Infestors trying to lend the fungal growth there. The Banelings can connect. This does change very quickly. Once again, base in the top left-hand corner will be denied. Here we go. Zerg is moving forward. Big fungal growth underneath all of those Medivacs. Chain fungal here as well on some of those units. And I think eventually, even though this army composition for Terran is quite a bit better, a lot of that supply count is caught up in Medivacs. That's 16 Medivacs! We aren't playing Wings of Liberty anymore, Polt! 16 Medivacs is way too much. Even with the rapid reignition system. He's got more freaking Medivacs than Marines. That's not something we see all too often. Alright, so... Bly was actually like a good 50 supply behind just now, but those good units that he just made, I mean, they are the comeback mechanic, right? So, comeback mechanics in StarCraft 2. Oh, actually, hold that thought, because... Oh, I was gonna say, I don't think he wants to commit to holding his base, does he? I mean, I've got a feeling the hatchery will be gone by the time you get there. Yeah, none of these units can shoot up. Comeback mechanics in StarCraft 2. There's no denying right now, Bly is in a bit of a different, or a difficult spot. How do you get back if you're in this spot in the game? There's a few comeback mechanics for Zerg. I think the biggest ones... Oh, once again, the mules are in so much trouble. The planetary fortress actually... Oh my god, that's such an expensive coup. Ooh, I don't know if I like that. Yo, okay, hold up. Yeah, look at that. The resources lost here for Zerg are way, way more. And once again, he's not been mining that much more. Well, right now, he does have way more workers, but mules are good. Once again, Thor drop here this time around. Bottom right-hand corner. We'll be able to get a kill as well. Nicely done. So, comeback mechanic for Zerg. I feel like fungal growth is one of the big ones. If you can land the proper fungal on, like, part of this army, they get picked off very quickly. Since Polt doesn't really have the economy here either. Oh, this position over here with the mineral patches. Nicely done. But Polt doesn't really have the money here either to make, like, a transition towards a ton of Liberators or, say, like, for example, Ghosts. The Infestor Ultra Army composition can actually be quite nice. With one good fungal growth, you can get a lot of value. Now, here's the thing though. Polt is adding on a couple of those Liberators at a time. Making 2 of them right now as well. I'm sure he would love to be producing 4, but as far as I can tell, he doesn't even have a second starport. Maybe I should just sing the StarCraft music instead. Anyways, Polt once again on the prowl. I'm liking this position for him quite a bit, but I would love it if he decided to add on maybe a few more workers. I mean, I say that, right? But with only 30 workers here, he has an army supply of 167. That's crazy. He's got 167 army supply. This is once again, I guess, the moment where those Medivacs can really become super useful. Alright. At the same time, the Ultras are going for the counterattack of the few SCVs that remain. A couple of them just got killed. Planetary Fortress also ends up dying. Is there going to be enough at home, though, for Bly to defend this push? I mean, that is an awful lot of Terran. Terran, by the way, really has not a lot of mining. I mean, I've been talking like Bly is out of this game for a little while already. He's in a rough spot, but I mean, Terran really doesn't have that much. He just now, I guess, flew like a base over there to expand towards the low ground, but that's not really quite the position you want to be in. Those mutas, once again, get a lot of value. 3 of those Liberators go down, and that makes those Ultras so much better. Ultras right now, though, speaking of them, they have moved on over towards the base in the bottom corner. Planetary or rather Command Center will be killed as well by those Mutalisk. Oh my god. Bly is in the process of pulling a rabbit out of a hat. It's a really big hat, but he's gonna have to try. These mutas are getting quite a bit of value, although Stimpak's so good. I mean, whenever you see this, right? Whenever, like, Marines die, it's fine and all, but you're always trading gas for minerals, and there's no denying that gas is pretty much always the more valued resource, especially in the later stages of the game, even for our bio-based Terran player. So he's adding in another Thor because he has seen that there is going to be indeed some additional muta production. Blydo has opened up the opportunity now once again to start mining the base over next to the main. And the Terran army, I mean, it's still sitting on the edge of the creep because of course it is. Apparently this is what Bly, what Polt does. He's still sitting on the edge of creep, but he's gonna have a hard time going all the way back home. I mean, I guess he could. Unlikely that Zerg would really start engaging over here, but this is kind of cool right now, right? So Bly trying his very best to stay in this game. He's doing an excellent job doing exactly that. A lot of counterattacks, and while I usually would be very worried about those counterattacks, Polt has decided to put pretty much all of his eggs in one basket, and rather than adding on additional SCVs, he just wants to push forward with the army that he's got. He's sitting on only 19 workers. Yeah, that means his army supply is huge, but he also kind of puts himself in a bit of a dire scenario, right? It's do or die right now for him. Hatchery over here, though. Ugh, no council there, sadly, for the Zerg. It's quite a big deal. He doesn't have a lot of money to play with anymore. Still sitting on 50 workers, and, well, he's got those infestors, right? The infestors really, really do help. You know what would be nice? Brute-Lord Infestor. I know Brute-Lord Infestor is not nearly as good as it once was, but I still feel like it would be very nice against just this straight-up, like, bio-tank kind of force. I mean, there's a few Thors, but it's not like Polt can make a lot of them anymore at this point. Okay, he finally does start producing some SCVs again. Big fungal growth. These Medivacs are actually starting to take a lot of damage. They haven't been repaired up once. I actually think that Greater Spire would be a pretty good choice. I mean, he doesn't have a lot of money, though. Once again, fungal growths do go down. Man, Polt, so aggressive on the edge of creep. Look at that. He kills a tumor, and then once again, leapfrogs the tank slowly but surely forward. Bly, though, he's fine with this, because he knows that his opponent is not really going to be able to, you know, push forward very easily, and that now opens up the opportunity for him to go in for the push over here. Now, there's siege tanks on the high ground. I love that. Really cool. This is something Zerg can't really easily see, but there's 3 of them sitting on the high ground. Oof. Expensive lossing units there. And I think that may be the moment that that Polt was waiting for. I mean, I say that, but he's still just sitting there. It does kind of feel like going back to Wings of Liberty and Heart of the Swarm. He's still only on 27 workers. That's crazy. Okay, big fungal growth. Once again, lend it. That means these Ultras can deal so much damage. I think eventually this army, though, should be cleaned up, right? I mean, I'm looking at the supply counts, and I feel like Polt has been, like, doubling his opponent's supply almost for, like, the last, I don't know, 8 minutes, maybe? Usually that means that the game is over, especially with an army supply that is more than 2 times as big as your opponent's, right? It's like 2.5 times as big right now. That's massive. That's absolutely huge. But he doesn't really have an army composition that can easily shove forward and end the game right here, right now. Also, obviously, we have full vision. Polt may be slightly misinterpreting this because he doesn't really know exactly how much mining there is over here in the top left-hand corner of the map. I mean, he can't obviously see everything. Now, there are Corruptors available, yeah. I think Bly wants to make the transition, maybe. I mean, I would love to see him go for the Greater Spire. Polt, though, making a move out right over here, but I feel like, yep, that Medivac is not going to be able to live, and the Thor will go up and blow up in small little pieces as well. Look at this small hit squad, by the way. One Marine, 1 Siege Tank, 1 Liberator. It's apparently the name of the game. Here's the big force, though. Here's where a lot of that Terran army is located, and once again, Polt, I mean, he's starting to be a little bit insecure here, right? So he's been playing this very confidently, probably assuming his opponent would leave the game 5 minutes ago. Right now he's like, wait a second. Maybe there's like a lot more mining than I actually realized. I know there's those infestors available. Infestors very scary. Once again, a couple of the SCVs do get blown up over here. He seems to keep on throwing more and more money at me. I wonder if he's actually got way more stuff than I realized. And you don't really want to fight on creep here if you're a Terran player either. So, okay, he's finally starting to take a bit of a calculated approach. I like this a lot better. So, he's adding on a few workers at a time. You don't even need that many of them. Just going up to like 40, maybe 50 or so would be much, much nicer already. So, he's adding on a few workers at a time. Really just mining as much as he can. Probably trying to go back to the state where he's maxed out once again. This is pretty cool, though. Bly is kind of like, you know, he's like that lion that growls, okay, to make himself look really, really scary and really, really big. I guess lions are a bad example because they are scary and they are big, but you get what I'm trying to say, right? He's making himself look way stronger than he actually is right now. Well, yeah, no, I'm trying to think if I could take the lion analogy anywhere else. He's kind of like a zebra, all his hind legs acting. No, zebras aren't that scary. He's kind of like a peacock. There you go. Like a peafowl, like a peacock. You know, putting his feathers out to make himself look really imposing. That's it. Dude, I got it. Third time's the charm. Lion, zebra. There you go. He's got his feathers out, you know, trying to scare everyone off. Well, he's clawing himself back into it. And you know what? The Great Aspire is coming up. How many infestors still remain? Quite a few of them, actually, as well. So it is 5 infestors at this point. So all of them are right over here. With one good fungal growth, this game can be over. Right? Like one good fungal on creep, ultras go in, this whole army dies. Like all of this clump immediately dies, and that's gonna be the opportunity that Bly is waiting for. He's also securing more bases in the bottom right-hand corner, so even if like this edge of the map gets cleaned up, Bly can just psycho his economy towards the bottom right instead. Polt though sniffing this out, okay. He hasn't checked the bottom right-hand corner in a little while, but he does know apparently that there's a hatchery over there. Doesn't know about, you know, the far bottom right. He's actually now splitting up his units though, so I like this a lot. Looks like he should be able to clean up this side of the map at the very least. At the same time though, the Zerg army is moving forward. That base over here, I mean, it might be cleaned up, but it's a bit of an awkward position to fight into. Polt though has got a very, very large army. This base over here will certainly be killed. Ultras running to their graves over here as well, but not without picking off a lot of that bio. Hatchery still lives. Bly is holding on by the skin of his teeth. Decides to get those drones back towards another mining location. Okay. This hatchery is surprisingly difficult to kill. It's always in such an awkward spot. Like, this doesn't really feel like a StarCraft base, you know? It's like a pocket expansion right next to the main, but you can't get there from the main base. It's a little bit odd. Yeah, if you can get like a siege unit, like a brute lord over here, that would be phenomenal. The hatchery though, running very low on health, and it will eventually be killed. Fungal growth once again. Used right there to kill one of those medivacs. And Bly really doesn't have a lot of mining anymore right now, right? I mean, I'm looking at the hatchery count. I mean, there's a few of them. There's one hive, one hatchery over here, and then one more on low ground. He's forced to take as many resources right now as he can. Once again though, Polt. He's a little bit worried about this. He's like, you know what? I may have taken a bit of a risk. Let's just get everyone back together. Let's take absolutely zero gambles. Let's just make a large army and go again. So I think what he's trying to do right now is reinforce the units that he's got, regroup the army that he does have, and then once again go for the assault. Bly though, I mean, he's gotten up towards his beloved Brute Lord Infestor. Neither the Brute Lord or the Infestor is as strong as it was in the previous patch, especially when your opponent has late game mechanics, but Polt still just sitting on Marine Marauder Medivac Siege Tank for pretty much the majority of the game. He's added on a couple of Liberators, and actually, okay, I missed those. He's been producing quite a few Ghosts too. Okay, never mind, guys. Those Ghosts are absolutely huge. So Ghosts can use Snipe right there, or I guess it's called like steady aim or steady targeting, something like that. On the Brute Lords, they can use them on the Ultralisk. They can use EMP to remove the energy out of the Infestor. This is the ultimate late game composition for Terran if you could add in like a couple of Liberators and a couple of Thors as well. I think that Bly really is hoping his opponent is going to make one misstep. And you know what? I kind of want the Terran player too, just to see this happen. We don't see a lot of comebacks at StarCraft 2 at the highest level. It usually doesn't happen. Especially not when your opponent is as far ahead as Polt is right now. The couple of brutes though do get sniped or do get spotted right over here, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly how Zerg can engage into this. The hatchery once again finished. We do have a Viper now added into the mix as well. I guess a good Blinding Cloud can help. Brute Lords right now though, coming in from the side. Ooh, nicely done. Fungal Growth once again softening up the HP right there of some of those units. Apparently, in the meantime, there's a handful of Zerglings killing 12 SCVs. A handful of Zerglings on hold position. But, I mean, the last mining base here of Bly is running out of money. He's only got 55 mineral income and a dream. He's hoping his opponent will fight him on creep. I think he may very well have to force the issue here in a little bit because Polt is maxed out. He's mining all of the bases that he wants. He's got the base in the top left-hand corner secured right now. And I'm pretty sure against a weaker opponent, this kind of strategy would have actually worked. It's very easy for Terran to overcommit. EMP, though, does go down on all of those infestors. And eventually, the South Korean player, known as Captain America, for some reason, he goes by the name of Polt, and he does obtain the victory. Beautiful game right there from both players. I hope you enjoyed watching this. If you did, hit that like button down below. If you want to see more, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get a notification as soon as I upload more. A special shout out to the Patreon supporters. Thank you very much for the generosity. But for now, I want to thank you for watching. Have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile alright. And I will see you once again in the next one.